Welcome back. It's still Entertainment Review live on Metro Television. We are live on DSTV channel 277, live on Facebook and YouTube is Metro TV Ghana. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Metro TV_GH. So, I believe that highly successful artists always have hardworking managers behind them, but often we hear them parting ways with their manager. This afternoon, we are discussing the do's and don'ts of artist management, and we have our guest in the studio. We have GZ, who is a talent manager and also co-founder Deep Live Africa Limited, and also Don Didi. Yeah, I know him. Didi is also a talent manager and also the CEO of Big Boy Network. And currently, Didi is the manager for Kelvin Boy, and GZ is the former manager of Mr. Drew. And we'll be having Lexi also joining us via Zoom, who is also Amarado's road manager. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome. Usually when you meet them, it will be backstage and like, Charlie, at that point,
Don't
at that point, you know what they talk, Charlie, make what, all that stuff. Yeah. Good to have you here. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Great.
Okay, today we are looking at something very, very interesting, and both of you are professionals and all, but then I want to start with the whole conversation on experience. On becoming manager, the road to becoming artist manager. What has the journey been like? I'll start with Don first.
Well, let me first start by greeting everybody that's tuned in. I'd like to say that the road to becoming an artist manager is never easy. I mean, but then of course nothing is easy in this world. But I can say without a doubt that one of the most difficult jobs in this country or in the world at large is artist management. Yes. In our part of the world, people tend to disregard the role of artist managers in the lives or careers of artists. You know, they ground like that. If Jizu will agree with me, the sleepless nights, the dedications. See, make I just cite one typical example, especially when you have to go for shows by road. There was one time where I drove over 8 hours from Accra to Asankregwa. Me alone.
Means you were on top speed. That is a 12 hours journey.
And then we set off at dawn, got there around 4 or 5 p.m. The show was Kelvin was supposed to perform around 10, 11 p.m. And then when you get there, you cannot sleep because the show will not happen. The artist can go into his room, go rest, and make sure that he's refreshened up and everything for the show, for the performance. But you cannot sleep. If you sleep, and then time pass, why hour?
Yeah.
So we got there, he entered his room, he went to take his rest. And then I was up, my eyes were red. Because, mind you, I had driven for over 8 hours to get to, and anybody that knows us at Krego knows the road. The road is bad.
Very bad. Very, very bad.
So we got there, and then we had to wait for everything to be coordinated. We finished the show, and then we had to drive back to Accra because the following day we had an activity in Accra. We could not afford to sleep in Asankregwa.
That should be another 8 hours or more.
So these are some of the things, these are some of the roles of the job that people don't get to see.
Yeah.
What we want people to see is the bright side because, of course, we want to encourage most young people who are aspiring to become artist managers like ourselves to know, say, some of these things are sacrifices that yield results, that yield benefits. You get it? So we like to put out the flashy stuff. We like to put, me especially, you never go see my hustle. Never. Yeah. But I'll motivate you with a flashy life. I'll let you know, say, I'm in Canada, I'm in America. Yes. And then you think it's rosy, you think it's easy, but
it's not easy.
It's never easy.
We have Leslie also on the line, who is the artist manager for Amarado, and we'll be coming to him very, very soon. But then I want to come to GZ. I know in a couple of interviews, you've mentioned the fact that you had to do certain courses that will direct you to the work you find yourself in right now. At what point in time did you feel that I needed to add these courses that will help me to be able to excel in artist management?
Okay, so right after senior high school, I was managing one talent. It was for fun. We were in school together. He was good. He was a rapper, so I decided to, be going everywhere with him. After that time, I had no links. I had no idea about how to manage a talent. I was just happy moving around with him to go and perform, like, rap battles and all that. When it was time for me to go to the university, I actually wanted to do something on management. So I did brands management. So it was there that I realized that, no, everything I'm learning here, let me channel my attention into managing talent. So right from school, I started. I don't know if you guys know this guy, OBK. He was formerly Setino.
Yeah, OBK, yeah.
He was on Sarkodie SBB. By then.
Yeah.
So I started managing him from school.
Okay.
I got him into Hitmaker. And then I think I stopped managing him after Hitmaker. Because I had to manage other talents. Then I moved on to manage Regina Van Helvet. There, after school, I was still doing short courses online on how to manage artists. So it's always been a passion. That's how it starts before you make it a profession. Yeah.
Okay. Nana, before you go to
Wow, on the
Kwao,
line, yeah.
what does it take to become an artist manager? Is it that, okay, you see a talent, you think that, okay, this one will make it, so let me just attach myself to him or her. What does it take to become a talent manager?
Okay. So I don't know if I should give you the book definition of who an artist manager is.
Don't give me the book.
Or I should give you
We
the
want
reality.
the book and the experience altogether.
Details.
Okay, in reality, if you ask me who is an artist manager, it's a prophet who sees a talent and decides to put his goals in life aside, put his desires aside,
Okay.
to make sure the talent becomes who he wants to be.
Okay.
Okay.
So for 4 or 5 years, after school, I wanted to do my master's. I was working with GH1 TV. I wanted to do my master's. But when Mr. Drew approached me to manage him, I had to put all my goals in life aside.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then now ask him, what are your visions? Okay, how do I come in? So now I had to put my visions aside, come in and then help him build his career to the point where we had to part ways.
Yeah.
So an artist manager is a prophet. That is why you see someone have issues with his artist. And then, 2 months back, I said that was it. I wasn't doing it again. After weeks, you see me sign to another artist. You see, it's a calling. You can't run away from it. And the bosses in the game will tell you. You can ask them, Bulldog, Ashes, all of them. How many times, even George Britain, how many times did they decide to put this work aside and then move on to other things? But you can't. So, you have to learn how to manage your ego, manage that of another human being's ego. Always come through for the artist. There are so many times that I'll be sleeping, I'll be getting calls. They are talking about artists on this FM. Then I have to now look for the producer's number, call the person and then talk. This is not what it is. This and this is what happened. I've created a lot of enemies within the period. And that's it. There are so many times that I know this thing they are saying is true. But for the sake of the brand, I need to protect it. So I come in and say, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So you need to be a very strong person. You need to learn because look at us. Imagine we didn't, we are illiterate. We can't come and sit here and be having this conversation with people.
I know, right?
So you need to learn.
When it comes to such cases, where does the PR come in? Because I hardly hear that artists in Ghana here have PR.
Yeah, the truth of the matter is that our industry is a very small industry.
So you know everybody, so no need for PR.
You can't pay a lot of people to come in the team,
Okay.
As you grow.
Okay.
As you grow, you can get people. But look at me. You ask me, how much do I make to employ a PR?
PR person.
Yeah.
Wow.
Once in a while, you can get someone who is a fan of the artist to say, I want to do this for you. But when he comes in after 2 months, 3 months, he starts asking for money. And it is very hard to put the person on salary.
On
so
payroll.
we tend to do everything.
Ourselves.
Multitasking.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll continue the conversation here, but then, Kwao, can you hear me? Hello, Kwao. Hi, Kwao. Yeah, I can see you. Can you hear me? Okay, wow.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
All right, it's good to have you joining us. Most often, people have different ways of doing things. But then, let's say you are an artist manager. Now you are managing an artist. What is the first line of action as an artist manager? What's your plan? What are the strategies you put in place to make sure that whatever the artist is going to do, the artist must thrive?
Sure. Greetings to you all, and then to my brothers, Dizzy and then Gizzy. Actually, this work is as Gizzy said, you have to probably be a prophet to do this. You have to give in your all. So the first line of contact is either you are very interested in what a person is doing. You have to be a fan of the artist you are managing. Trust me. That is the first thing you should probably have at the back of your mind. You have to be a fan. Love whatever the person is doing, and then be able to push the person to his or her goals. And now to reach the goals, as Jesus said already, it's dedication. You have to put your interest aside. Your focus should be on the artist's interest. Your focus should be on the artist's success. And your focus should be achieving the goal at the end of the day.
Okay. There's this whole issue with right now. Most of the artists really, when it comes to number, the music scene has been like a numbers game for some time now. And often, when you want to balance between the number, what the masses want, and your decision as an artist, how do you navigate between the two? Because with the numbers, you are saying that, oh, let me go with the masses, what they want. But then as an artist manager, you also have a vision. You also have something at stake. So how do you navigate between the numbers and your decision as a manager?
Okay, so basically, when the case study will be Amrado, when you study his growth, okay, initially he was doing him as a hardcore rapper. The reason was to cement his position in the game as one of the toughest rappers in Ghana, okay? At that time, we were not having the numbers, as in when you even check our streams, they were not that as today. But he was very feared.
Okay.
Because of how he positioned himself during that time. And now, there's an investor. People are putting in money, and then they have to recoup it back. Would you still say you will be that, fearsome rapper, drop something, and you do not probably reach the masses to get the investment back? No. So you have to decide and then reach out to the masses. Let's do something that people will like or the masses will love. So for example, we came up with a weekly yet in something which amassed a lot of numbers. It was something we're doing for the masses to enjoy. It was not a real Amrado, but we had to do that for the people. Then he started doing, soft rap for ladies to also, rap along and stuff. So it started from him cementing his position first before serving the masses so that we could probably get what we are investing back.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Carl. Let me come to Don. At the point when everything ended with Kelvin Boy with the other side and you had to work with him, within the first few days, what did you have to focus on? Is it you had to focus on the brand when there were so many news in the bloggers, like the bloggers were blogging, there's so many news here and there, or you had to focus on the music and promote more songs for the people?
I mean, I had to focus a bit on both
Okay.
because as the brand that makes you acceptable. Trust me, talent alone is not enough, and I said most of the times it is very, very true. Talent alone is not enough. You need to focus more on your brand because that is what people see.
Yeah.
Somebody may not like you for your music, but they might like you for the way you dress.
Yeah, where you are.
The way you appear on stage, the way you do certain things. So we try to focus on both of them. And Kelvin, from the get-go, had always wanted to be different from Stonebwoy. So I came in to try and champion that cause for him. I was never really a part of Stonebwoy's team. I've always been Team Kelvin Boy from the very get-go. So when things ended, sadly, a few years ago, I knew that we could survive regardless because we were, from the very get-go, championing our own cause, doing our own thing. Kelvin kept saying, I want to be me. I want to be realized as Kelvin Boy, not the son of Stone Boy or any other thing or the other tags that were given him at the time. You know, and then it worked. It worked. I think that for every mishappening, there's a blessing. The artist himself at a point got scared when the separation came, but it was my role at the point to say, yo, killer, we go feed them. We go feed them. Forget everything. We go feed them. Because at the time, we know they shoot our own videos. We were basically doing everything by ourselves at the time. You know, so I was telling him, so don't let these things bring you down. You want to be an artist. There's a reason why God has taken you from that camp. You want to be seen. I mean, nobody is doing music to be under the shadow of anybody. Yeah. You want to be seen. So, I mean, I feel like this is a step in that direction. Mo could just man up and then they face some, they chase some, they go. And then it worked.
Okay. I want to talk about record labels and managers. I think I've had that conversation where, let's say, if Blackham, right, that's the label that says, I want to sign Stonebwoy, then is it the label that appoints a manager to the artist, or the artist would say that I've got someone and I want this person to be my manager? And how do you deal with that?
It works either ways. For an artist who doesn't have a manager and is being handled by a record label, the label can choose to say, okay, you don't have a manager. We have a guy who works for us who is equally fit for the job. Let's let him handle you and then see how it goes. And then at certain points, we can say, okay, a label is coming to sign us, but as they come, I already have my manager, I already have my team. So if you're coming for me, I want you to come for me and my team.
Your team, okay.
You get my point? Yeah, which is the classic case of what happened with Blackham. After Burnington Music, Blackham had to take over, that is Black City, as the label. And then the team was already there. We've been working with Black City from the very get-go, you know? So we charged it and then said, okay, fine, this be the team. CD has already known me from the very start. You get my point. So we just took it and then we worked like that. And then, but of course, there are labels that will say, okay, this is your team. Your manager not be good enough. He's not trying for you. I can give you.
Oh, okay.
It happens with those empires and those big labels. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then.
Wow.
Yes. Give you a team.
Right under your eyes.
Give you a team that they feel is competent to handle the business, the music business for you. Yes. It happens.
Okay, because reading about, just doing a little research, the work of a manager, as you mentioned, lots of people wouldn't anticipate or think it's that huge, but there are lots of things involved in that. We've oftentimes talked about our brothers from the other side, that when they are coming, they come as a team. So there's a publicist, there are lots of members in the team, but as Jesus said, our industry is very small that you cannot afford to get everybody on that team. Yeah. So if you want your artist to break out from being the regular Ghanaian, musician, what is the plan? Like Mr. Drew, you knew that he was a dancer, he was a this, blah, blah, but for a moment, he was everywhere. Yeah. I mean, something different was about him. Kelvin Boy came out, something different was about him. Amrado, something different about him that made him blow. What are some of the plans that, we've got to do this and this and this to help us be different from everybody?
International or to
still be you make your way in Ghana and then you break out of Ghana. From Ghana. Okay, this is good.
Let me just conclude on that.
Yeah.
Normally, it starts out here, and then when you realize that the talent is becoming big enough, your talent is growing and it's becoming, you need to start building contacts.
Okay.
You need to start building contacts, not here in Ghana alone, outside of the world, because the music, be Ghana thing alone. It's a worldwide thing, it's an international thing. There are places where if I step to, my role as a manager is limited. There are people that will take over, especially when we enter, say, UK. I have little knowledge about the UK market. Yeah. So I have contacts that will take over and say, okay, now this is our field. Let's go here. Let's do this. Let's do that. It will work, Those are the types of contacts you need to build. Okay. And those things really help build up the artist.
Okay.
Okay. So with Drew, of course, you mentioned he was a dancer before he started doing music. So the plan was to look into the industry and see, okay, what kind of artists don't we have in the system? And as at that time, Slim Bastard, the legend, was no more doing music actively. Miss Bell, who was also adding dance, was, I think the only competitor at that time was Kwame Eugene. But he is not a professional dancer like Mr. Drew. So he had to put the dancing first and then do the music. Then when people began to accept him, then we're like, okay, now everybody knows you can dance. Let's put the dance aside and then do music. So that is when we called our brother. We did Later, which didn't have a lot of dance in it. Dre didn't have a lot of dance in it. The controversial Eat with Stonebwoy, it didn't have dance in it. But then we used, I'm saying this on record, Mr. Drew was the very first artist to promote actively on TikTok doing dance challenges. And we did this, we took advantage of the, what's the name of the pandemic?
COVID.
Forget about it.
We took advantage of the COVID pandemic to do that. So you realize when there were restrictions as to no partying, no performing, every day Drew was on live, creating dance challenges, sharing his challenges. We were paying people to join. So that is how Drew became that big. Okay. Then later people got to accept that, oh, he can sing. Oh, really? So it's not just about dancing. Oh, he can sing. You understand? And then you mentioned, how do we get to international? Now, the good thing about the business is that now we have a lot of distribution companies.
Companies, okay.
Yeah, so we have Empire, we have Sony, we have Ziki, we have a lot of them. So as an artist in Ghana, once your numbers are good, because these people, they deal with numbers. Okay. It is not about how good you are, or my friend is a person at Empire, he can connect you. No.
Connect me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he can actually connect you. Mm-hmm. But for you to sign with them, it is numbers.
Yeah.
So now they'll come in, okay, what are your monthly listeners? How many people stream your music monthly? If they are okay with it, they sign a record, a distribution deal with you. Mm. Then now they start pitching you to other labels, getting your songs out there. Yeah. There are so many times that we've written songs for people who are not in Ghana, but we sign not to disclose it anyway.
Aye.
Yeah.
After you've taken your money.
I wasn't going to ask him to disclose because
No, I can't.
After you've taken your money, right?
Yeah, you can't. So you write music, you give it to the publishers and distributors, they take it to other labels in abroad, America. A popular artist has Drew's music on his album, but we can't mention. You understand? So that is how you get...
NDA, non-disclosure
You
agreement.
understand? That is how
It's
you
all
get...
in the contract.
Yeah. You can't disclose it forever. It will be in my mouth and my mind. You can't.
No.
What is kind of
You know, so that's how it works.
Okay.
So gradually you get to meet people who are also on the same distribution company, who are with similar publishing companies, and then they get to link you. Okay, so Asake is on Empire. Is he on Empire?
Yeah, he's on Empire.
Kiddy is on Empire. It is very easy for them to
work
I saw
together.
Fireboy and Kiddy in the studio. It is very easy. Now Kwame UJ is on. Smallest time you see Kwame UJ, look at Rotimi. He just posted a snippet of his song. Rotimi is on Empire. And it was easy for Rotimi to just link up and then do. Yeah. So that is how you go international, because we don't have the money to go and stay in America for 5 months, 6 months, you know, pushing and getting people to know us. No. So it is through labels and then publishers that, you know, we can only go international.
Now, let's talk about mistakes that some artists managers do. What are some of the mistakes you have done? And to upcoming artist managers watching, what are some of the mistakes they should avoid?
Hey.
The way you say you if you say that mistakes, that as you can say general.
Yeah, I mean, for mistakes, we all make mistakes.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you only make mistakes to
learn from them.
Learn from it. So some of the mistakes you shouldn't do is not to read contracts before you sign them. That is number one.
Wait, not to read contract
Yeah.
before you sign
Before you
them.
sign them.
Yeah.
But you
It's a
read
mistake.
contract before you sign.
But some people just sign once they get a contract. They are so happy to work with the
They read the
artist.
first
so they
page.
don't read.
They're okay
And
with
you
it,
can
and
also read and not understand
Understand.
what is inside. So get a lawyer to read and explain every clause or every details in it. Even when spelling your name, make sure the lawyer...
It's cross-checked.
You understand? That is the first mistake you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Now, the second thing is to love the artist more than yourself.
Okay.
And with this, it is very difficult because You wake up in the morning before you even think about yourself and your family.
you just
It's the
think about
artist
the
you are thinking about.
Oh yeah, that one there, Don is very good at it. He's
You
very
see,
good.
that's what I'm saying. We are prophets. It's a calling. Which prophet wakes up in the morning and then be thinking about himself? You are thinking about your congregation.
Yes.
People have called you with their problems. You know, so try. You try. I'll not say don't think about your artist or don't think about yourself more than artist, but you try, and then make sure you build yourself as you are building the artist. Because a time will come that you no more work with the artist. You've spent all your years building the artist.
Yeah.
And then you just be backdoor.
Yeah.
And then now that you need people to actually know you, who are you? Who are you?
Yeah.
Now you don't have to tell them. You see the guy who was working with person, it be me. I'll call you the other time. No. You see, so grow with the artist so that they don't look at you one time and be like, I made you.
Yeah.
You know, I pushed you to push me to get to where we are. So these are the two mistakes. The rest, I'll say them later.
Yeah. But I don't know if Kwao is still on the line. Kwao.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. On the back of what Jeezy said, I want to understand this. When an artist approach you, an artist manager, how is the agreement like? And when you also approach the artist to sign off the artist onto your label or work with the artist, what is that agreement also like? So let's get the distinction between the two.
Okay. When an artist approaches you, probably it's because he's seen something for example, your skill or something you've done for another artist, so they want you to work. Okay, and it might be in your capacity to work. If there is a financier, somebody to probably put in money. If you have that, and then you love what the person has, as in what the person is producing, then you can probably sit and discuss contracts with the person. With an agreed percentage you guys will just agree on. And then the other way around is for you to probably scout for talent. We are in the social media era, internet era, where you could see somebody online and you say, hey, this guy is good. This guy you think can be big one day. So you probably have to approach them and see if there is a manager or if there are people the person is working with or not. If not, you just bring it in. You tell the person, hey, I have the money, I have the connections, I want to work with you to probably help you achieve your goals. So in these two scenarios, this is how probably it goes.
Okay.
Kwao, I want to find out what is the artist entitled to? Because, you know, some artists have this sense of entitlement. And what is the boundary? As an artist manager, what are some of the things that the artist is entitled to or not entitled to when it comes to you as a manager?
Yes, okay. So probably when you are financing, let's say everything, okay, the artist is entitled to a portion of his streaming revenue. That's money that comes from his streaming online. A portion of his sales of his merchandise, t-shirts, cap, what it is, you know. When there's an ambassadorial deal, for example, he has a cut. So we can decide that, hey, you artists, you can take 40% because you are doing the content, you are the face of whatever we are doing. And I'll take 60 because I'm putting in money and I'm also putting in work.
Okay. Let's talk about money because so far we've been discussing this and we've not brought in the issue of money. Your commission, how do you come to agreement? And you know, sometimes the artist has or have money more than the manager. In that case, why are you guys laughing? We are looking at situations here. In that case, how do you go about it?
There should be.
As Jesus said, the first thing you have to think about is an agreement. The contract is key.
Okay.
Contract is key. Sometimes you perhaps love the person that much, you not even think of putting one or two on paper. Okay. So as I said, when you are doing the investment, at the end of the day, you should probably be taking more. When there's an investor, the investor will come in with an agreement that, let's say, I'll put in A or B amount and I'll take this percentage out of whatever we are getting at the end of the day. When the percentage is taken out, now you, the artist manager, and then the artist will also agree on a percentage that hey, if person A is putting in money and taking 40 out of what we are getting. The remaining 60 is either we share 30-30 or I'll give you 40 and I'll take 20.
Okay.
I
Don
think
wanted
Don
to,
wanted
yeah,
to
come
add.
in with
Yeah,
that
so
as
like I
well.
was saying, I mean, I'll speak for those of us that don't have investors. Like you're saying, there are artists that are a bit richer than their
Yeah.
managers. That is why we don't depend on your money to do the work. We make sure that whatever comes in, per shows, per streams, and whatever other business there is, brands,
Endorsements,
activations and all
yeah.
that, endorsement deals and all of that. There's a structure. There's a percentage that goes to management, that goes to the artist. There's a percentage that goes to the DJ, and so on and so forth. And we make sure that we uphold that structure no matter what. So there's nothing like greed. There's nothing like with Time Wakame.
Yeah.
If I'm broke today, and then I need to rely on what we have, our income, I make sure that I pay back. Same for the artists. I'm never hungry and then I'll call my artist and say, Killer Charlie, how far? Today, no good.
Okay,
How
so
far?
I want to add to what.
Where the respect drops.
I want to add to what did you say. I understand who asked the question. Is it you? I understand where you're coming from. I think in Ghana there are artists that are richer than their managers, and in most cases, managers are not supposed to be using their monies to, unless you are an independent artist. You approach me to manage you. You don't have money. You don't have label. You don't have any. How do you call it? Investor. Then we can, in the contract, we call something advance.
Okay.
And it is not only labels that give advances. We can take your money and use it as advance. Advance means we are using the money. When we start seeing money, whatever amount you spent in the business, we'll pay it to you before you even start sharing proceeds.
Okay.
You understand? So
Yeah.
in that case, you can't stand anywhere and say, I used my money. You used your money, of course, but it was paid to you back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's how at times to work, because I know in Ghana, I can mention a lot of artists who are richer than their managers.
Oh, yes.
You understand? And
Interesting.
and I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be, but we
that's
feel
what it is.
we feel it's their talent. We are just the drivers of the talent, and it is only fair that they get to enjoy more than us, because their faces are on TV. They need to look better than managers. But you two did it like this as a day, yeah, the sneaker they wear. It don't be small money, it be investment. So
Oh, he did it, yeah.
once the money comes, you the manager too, you need to look good.
Yeah.
So how much control do you have over your artist's finances?
100%.
100%.
Well, when it comes to the job, not
Okay.
that.
No, his personal money.
No, not his personal
like
money.
the finances of,
When it comes to
yeah.
the job, yes.
Okay.
In the sense that, like I'm saying, there's a structure. So when the money comes, it always comes to you first. People make the mistake of letting the artist get control of the money.
Okay.
You get my point?
Yeah.
Money from the work we do should always go through management, and then the management would allocate it. And yes, when it gets into the hands of the artist, and
forget.
for some artists, they go feel blow up and call you and give you excuse. Oh, Charlie, these people
So
play
this
some
is
show.
this is
And,
why,
and
I'm saying it
you
here.
get my point.
I'm saying it here. I hope I don't get into trouble.
You won't
What
get
did
into
this said is the
trouble.
reason why I don't work with Mr. Drew.
Oh, Charlie.
You won't get into trouble. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's breaking news for news night.
Yes.
What did this said is what got us here.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Artists they grow. They get to see a lot of things.
Yeah.
So at a point in their career, they want to be the drivers, forgetting that you can't be the driver. I mean, if you could be the driver, you should have driven yourself from when you
the
started.
beginning, yeah.
You understand? So at times it gets tough, but then as a manager, it gets to a point where you feel, even if this artist agrees to this particular topic, it will come back again.
Yeah.
So do I move or should I stay?
I see.
So you weigh the options, and if it's okay for you to stay, fine. If it is not,
You move on.
you move on.
And I remember you said you waited for 3 weeks and you realized that it wasn't good for you. So you
Where did you hear that from?
Oh, I know. I actually
Fear
watched.
Nanaya.
No, it's not like fear me. I know, but that's what you said.
I mean, Mr. Drew and myself, we are good because
Yeah.
we actually tried not to make this a very big deal. If it was, it would be in the news.
Exactly.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
done
And
well.
this happened in December.
Yeah.
And I got to talk about it in February. Even that, I didn't even open up. You understand?
It was because of the platform you were on.
Yeah.
That's why.
I don't know whether we have enough time, but how do you handle scandals? And I'm
Hey,
asking
we
that
have
because
30
of
seconds.
30 seconds.
Yes.
How do you handle scandals?
Me, I choose not to talk about them.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't there. He won't talk.
Oh, me, I'll never. I'll
What
never
if
talk
the
about it.
scandal affects your artist's income or his shows and all that? You're still not going to talk about it?
You see, the business we're in, there's something like there's nothing like bad publicity. So no matter the mess, I
Yeah.
try not to
Okay.
get myself in trouble.
Yeah.
I try, and then but if it comes at me, I mean it's come. I mean, you see, there's nothing I can do.
You said you have
about it.
30
Mine
30
is
Seconds.
Okay,
mine
please.
is not to make it worse by going to say things that will
Yeah,
trigger people
yeah,
or make it worse, you know. So when it comes, I know there's nothing that has never happened before. I keep quiet.
Yeah, that's
Every
why
time it
Kelvin's
goes over.
voice issue. I didn't hear anything about
No,
manager.
like Don and Kasa, like he doesn't care about
Please,
it.
let me say
If,
this
if it's blocking the money, then he'll find a way to deactivate it. But if it's not blocking the money,
Please,
Let's just wrap it up.
Because I might not get the time to say this. So we have a new boy coming up.
okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, his name is Sisi.
CC. Yeah.
Siici. Do you know him?
Yeah, I met him at Mr. Gazi's opening.
Yeah.
It's good.
One dope guy, and then I'm mentioning his name here. The next time I come here, I'm sure we'll be having a very good conversation about him, as to him topping charts and
Definitely.
yeah. So
And
Tuka
Don, you
is
too.
back
I
in
saw you
town.
making moves in Canada.
Yeah.
Well, what's happening there?
Oh, we went for a brief tour, like a mini tour, you know, because it's been like 5 years and that's the only market we haven't really tapped into. So we went to explore, we went to, you know, survey the market and see, to be very honest, the Canadian market is ripe for the taking. Yes, it's very, very ripe because they are new to the whole Afrobeats thing and they are new to entertainment. They are just busy doing work and all of that. When you go there, you will feel like it's a dull country, but believe me, they can party if they choose to.
They choose.
Okay.
I know Kevin Boy is back in town, so we'll be having him
Yeah.
one of these days. Yeah.
Well, hopefully, since
week,
Don has been here,
We'll be here
Kelvin
next
too.
week.
will
Oh,
come.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
here next week.
He has said it. It's done.
Yeah, I said it.
Don't do.
Guys, thank you very, very much. The
Okay.
conversation has been engaging and very
And to Kwao,
insightful.
yeah.
And to
Yeah.
Kwao, very, very much. We really appreciate your time, and we hope this wouldn't be the first and the last. Kwao, this one is a goodbye because we are wrapping up here. Okay, my name is Nanaya Tano Obuache, and I did this with
Arietta D.
My name is Desifredi in the Star, but we're back tomorrow.
and a big shout out to the production team.
Yep.